Hello, and welcome back to Doctor Who Review. And today we'll be reviewing Paul McGann's first season as the 8th Doctor, Season 38. First up, we have the TV movie. Now, this shows the final appearance of Sylvester McCoy's Doctor. Now, this story was led up by Death Comes to Time and Dark Universe in the previous season. Now, this story obviously takes place with Sylvester McCoy's regeneration. He gets shot, and is gunned down in 1999. And then he dies in the infirmary by a bad operation and regenerates into Paul McGann. We then meet, which also means that we meet companion Grace Holloway and Lee. The Master returns in this episode as well, played by Eric Roberts. His master is divided amongst fans. Some love him, some hate him. Me, well, I don't know where I stand with Eric Roberts, to be honest. He's returned in a few stories. He's returned with a song, but he just never appealed to me as the Master, to be honest. The story itself is okay. The plot is baffling, but to be honest, the whole film itself is fine. The F Doctor steals the show for me, and sure, he gains two new companions at the time, Grace Holloway and Lee. Although they both leave in similar fashion. They both wave goodbye to the Doctor, and the Doctor sits back in his normal chair and flies away. So, TV movie only aired once in the UK, aired on the 27th of May 1996. It got really good reviews in the UK. Well, obviously, it was co-produced by the BBC Corporation. The British Broadcasting Corporation was involved with the production of the story, but its main audience was meant to be America, and the ratings bombed. Like, they extremely bombed. Overall, itself in the UK, it worked for the UK audience. Some were a bit mixed whether it was good for America or not. That's only until Matt Smith's time. But for now, Doctor Who was trying with America and didn't really succeed in the way it was hoping to. But overall, Paul McGann's performance is brilliant. I really like Paul McGann. He's a great Doctor. Next, we have Storm Warning. Now, this story introduces us to the new companion, Charlie Pollard. I really like this story. However, its plot is very divisive, to say the least. To be honest, it's not a bad script or plot or anything. I'm just not a big fan of the plot, to be honest, with it being weird and that. But overall, in some aspects, Storm Warning is good. It sets up the Doctor pretty well, it sets up Charlie pretty well, and I like the fact that Charlie goes with the Doctor. You know, it's pretty damn good, and it has the setting of the RO1 blimp in the 1800s, which is pretty damn good for a setting, if I may ask. Now, Doctor Who had continued in Paul McGann's time after the TV movie, this probably would have been the first story they pre-record with America. Maybe it might have got picked up, but overall, this Storm Warning, it's a solid C from me. It's a pretty damn good story, and a good outing for Charlie Pollard as one of the great companions of the 8th Doctor of all time, to say the least. Overall, pretty damn good story. Next we have Sword of Orion. Now, this is a good story with the Doctor and Charlie. However, it shows return of the Cybermen, and I think they're underutilized here, to be honest. Don't get it wrong, it's a good 8th Doctor story, but there are better 8th Doctor stories out there. Overall, it's an alright story with Charlie. It's the first trip in the TARDIS, so you can't blame them for that, to be honest. Overall, solid performance from Paul McGann and India Fisher, as usual. Pretty decent. pretty decent from me. Next up, we have The Stones of Venice. Now, this is a story set in Venice. Now, don't get confused with Vampires of Venice. We'll get to that one eventually. But The Stones of Venice is a decent 8th Doctor story, and I mean, it's a good, nice setting piece in Venice. But I just don't think it's a great story, really. I mean, it's alright, but I don't think it's one of the greatest Doctor Who stories for Paul McGann ever. That comes later. But for now, it's alright with my books for now. Not the greatest, not the weakest, just lackluster. And finally, we have Minuet in Hell. Now, people have this sort of problem with this story. I mean, it brings the return of Brigadier back since the 7th Doctor's time. Now, is he utilised perfectly in this story? No, not really. No, not really. You think he's underutilised, but I do think the Doctor is good in it, but he just becomes a sane, goes into a mental institution in America, in New Mexico. It's just a weird story, to be honest. I wouldn't say it's a great season finale, to be honest. Overall, it's alright, but I think it needs a re-listen from me. And that's basically the end of season 38. This was Paul McGann's first season as a Doctor. And yeah, the movie was alright. Storm Warning to the Stones of Venice were pretty decent. And then Minuet in Hell was something else. Overall, I give season 38 an A+, an A-. It's not bad, it's not great, it's average. So join me next time for season 39.